Hello, I'm Jeremiah, and today I'm going to talk about what a film producer does. I'm also going to explain all those other producer credits like co-producer, executive producer, line producer, all of that stuff. All right, let's get started. Now, on a film, there is no better credit than producer. Now, I know the director often gets all the kudos for a movie, but it's really the producer that's the major author and the driving force of the film. They're also the person that has final cut, and for anyone who's collaborated on a film project, you know how important final cut is. And in fact, all of the directors whose names you know, like Scorsese, Tarantino, Duvernay, they're always also producers on their own film projects because they know that the producer is the one that really has creative control. They oversee the film from start to finish. And if the film is lucky enough to win a Best Picture award, like whether that's a Gotham Award or an Indie Spirit Award or maybe even an Academy Award, they're the person that gets to go up to the podium, get that statue, and give that awkward speech.
Look, it's all been redesigned and everything. Look at that. Beautiful.
So the first thing I was going to say is I really didn't recognize you, Your Royal Highness. You're not in your stormtrooper outfit.
The word today is irony. The date, the 24th, the month, February, which also happens to be the shortest month of the year.
Another way to think of the producer, maybe a more kind of conventional way, is as the CEO of the film. And if you think of the producer as the CEO, then this next credit, the executive producer, you can almost think of them as investors or maybe venture capitalists. They are someone who supports the film financially and is essential to getting the film made, but they're not the main authors of the movie, and they have limited influence creatively. Now, this credit can also be given to a main actor, especially if they're famous, or maybe it's given to a celebrity director or producer that helped get the film made or helped get it distributed. For instance, I'm sure you've seen films where it says Steven Spielberg presents or Quentin Tarantino presents. Now, Spielberg and Tarantino most likely weren't on set for those movies, but they were helpful in terms of getting the film made or maybe getting the film out to an audience. Now, before we jump into the other producer credits, I just want to take a moment and ask you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to this channel. And when you do, write in the comments, "I subscribe." This is a new channel and your support is really appreciated. All right, on to two of the most curious credits on a film. That's the co-producer and the associate producer credit. Now, with most credits on a film, it's clear what role someone played in the production. But these two credits are more flexible in their meaning. In fact, let me know in the comments below what you think the co-producer and associate producer do. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Now, let's start with the co-producer. There are two ways someone can get a co-producer credit on a film. The first way is to do some actual producing work. You're involved in the day-to-day making of the film, and you're helping the producer do all the things a producer does. Developing the project, hiring the crew, casting, etc. So the co-producer is working directly under the producer, helping the film get made in all the phases of production. For instance, on my film Torn, I had two co-producers, and they were my right and left hand during the production and the production phases of making that movie. Now, one of them handled finding and negotiating all of the locations for the film, as well as obtaining all the rights to the logos and the copyrighted materials that we used in the film. The other co-producer was responsible for producing the biggest scene in the film. This was an explosion and a fire at a shopping mall. And that included all of the emergency vehicles and the 150 extras that we needed for that scene. They were also responsible for producing the news segments that we used in the movie. And then both of them handled other smaller duties, but those were their main responsibilities. So they were deeply involved in the nuts and bolts of making that movie. Now, the second way to get a co-producer credit is to play a key role in getting the film made, but not in a hands-on way. For instance, I've given a co-producer credit to an investor who gave some money to the film, but not as much as would warrant them getting an executive producer credit. You can also give a co-producer credit to an actor in your film as maybe another form of payment. Because credits are so important, they are often used as a form of currency. And this is important for you to know whether you're the one hiring or the one being hired. The credit of associate producer follows very much this same formula. Now, I've given associate producer credits to crew members that worked on my producing team and helped me get the film made. They were almost like assistant producers. And they're usually at the beginning part of their career, because working as an associate producer can be a great way to learn about producing, learn about that craft of producing from a more experienced producer. I've also used the associate producer credit as currency, giving it out to people who donated their time or their money to the project. For instance, on one of my last film projects, we ended up giving an associate producer credit to the owner of a post-production company we used to mix the film because he gave us a really low rate for the work that he did. Let's now move into a very tangible producer credit, and that is the line producer. They usually come on board during pre-production, and they're responsible for managing the budget, really important, and executing the production plan. This can include hiring crew members, finalizing contracts and deals, finalizing and making sure that the production schedule works, and in general, ensuring that the production phase of filming runs smoothly. This is a very hands-on position. So if the producer is kind of looking at the big picture, then it's the line producer that's taking care of all the details. Now, I know many of you seeing this video want to get one of these jobs as a producer, or maybe make your own film, produce your own feature film. And if that's you, then I've got a great resource that you can use, and that's my free ebook, The Feature Film Fundraising Starter Kit. It's a book I wrote to help producers and filmmakers like you raise the money they need to make their first feature film, to really demystify that process. There's a link to it down below. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I really appreciate you. Let me know any thoughts or questions you have in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Cheers, and I'll see you next week.